NCIS's 500th episode delivers its best death in 23 years. 500 episodes is more than a milestone. It's a legacy. For a show built on mystery, loyalty, and the quiet weight of service, reaching such a number demands something extraordinary. In its 500th episode, NCIS does not just celebrate its past, it redefines it. And at the heart of that redefinition lies a moment so powerful, so unexpected, that it may stand as the series' most unforgettable death in its 23-year history. From its earliest seasons, NCIS has never shied away from loss. Characters have come and gone, some fading into the background, others leaving emotional scars that lingered for years. Death has often been a narrative tool. Tragic, yes, but sometimes predictable. What makes the 500th episode different is not simply who dies, but how and why it happens. The episode opens with a sense of reflection. The team, now a blend of familiar faces and newer recruits, is investigating what appears to be a routine case involving a retired naval officer. There's a quiet nostalgia in the air, subtle callbacks to past investigations, brief mentions of former team members, and an undercurrent that suggests something larger is at play. Longtime viewers feel it immediately. This is not just another case. As the investigation unfolds, the threads begin to intertwine in unexpected ways. Evidence points toward a shadowy network that has quietly influenced multiple cases over the years, a ghost in the system that has remained invisible until now. The realization hits hard. This isn't a new enemy. It's one that has been lurking in the background for decades, shaping events from afar. The tension escalates as the team closes in. What starts as a procedural slowly transforms into something deeply personal. Old files are reopened. Names long forgotten resurface. And with each revelation, the stakes grow higher. Not just for the case, but for the people involved. At the center of it all is a character who has been part of the show's emotional backbone. Not necessarily the loudest or the most commanding, but someone whose presence has always grounded the team. Over the years, this character has served as a bridge between generations, a steady hand in moments of chaos, and a reminder of what the job truly means. Their role in this episode is crucial. As the team digs deeper into the conspiracy, it becomes clear that this character has a connection to the hidden network, one that predates even their time on the team. It's not a betrayal, but a burden. A secret carried for years, one that was meant to protect others, but ultimately put them all at risk. The emotional weight of this revelation is immense. Trust is shaken, not broken, but tested in ways the team has never experienced before. Conversations become more intense. Silence is more meaningful. The line between right and wrong blurs, replaced by a more complicated truth. Sometimes, protecting the greater good comes at a personal cost. As the final act approaches, the team locates the mastermind behind the network. The confrontation is inevitable, and it unfolds in a setting that mirrors the show's themes: isolated, tense, and filled with history. It's here that everything comes to a head. The plan is simple: extract the information, dismantle the network, and bring those responsible to justice. But nothing about this moment feels simple. The enemy is prepared, anticipating their every move. What follows is a sequence that balances action with raw emotion, each second building toward an outcome that feels both shocking and inevitable. And then it happens: the death. It is not sudden in the way many television deaths are. There is no cheap shock, no last-minute twist designed purely for surprise. Instead, it unfolds with a kind of tragic clarity. The character at the center of the episode makes a choice, a conscious, deliberate decision to sacrifice themselves to ensure the mission's success and the safety of their team. In that moment, everything slows. Time seems to stretch as the reality sets in. There are no grand speeches, no dramatic monologues, just a quiet understanding, a look exchanged between teammates that says everything words cannot. The act itself is both heroic and heartbreaking. It's not just about stopping the enemy, it's about atonement, about finally confronting the consequences of a secret kept for too long. The characters' final moments are not filled with regret, but with a sense of peace, a belief that their sacrifice will protect the people they care about. What makes this death the best in the show's history is not its scale, but its depth. It resonates on multiple levels, narratively, emotionally, and thematically. It ties together years of storytelling, giving new meaning to past events, while shaping the future of the series. The aftermath is equally powerful. The team is left to process the loss, each member reacting in their own way. Some retreat into silence, others into action. There is no immediate resolution, no attempt to neatly wrap up the emotional fallout. Instead, the show allows the grief to breathe, acknowledging that some losses cannot be easily overcome. In a particularly poignant scene, the team gathers in their usual space, now feeling noticeably emptier. The absence is palpable. It's not just the loss of a colleague, but of a piece of their shared history. Memories are exchanged, not as a way to move on, but as a way to hold on. The episode closes on a note that is both somber and hopeful. The case is resolved, the network dismantled, but the impact of the sacrifice lingers. There's a sense that the team will carry this moment with them, allowing it to shape their decisions moving forward. Reaching 500 episodes is a rare achievement, one that few shows ever accomplish. To mark it with an episode of this caliber is even rarer. By delivering its most powerful death yet, NCIS not only honors its past, but also reaffirms its ability to evolve, to surprise, and to move its audience in profound ways. In the end, the 500th episode is not just about loss. It's about legacy. The idea that the choices we make, the sacrifices we endure, and the people we protect define who we are. And in that sense, this death is not an ending, but a continuation of everything the show has always stood for. It is, without question, the best death NCIS has ever delivered. In the days following the mission, the silence becomes its own kind of character. The bullpen, once filled with overlapping conversations, ringing phones, and the familiar rhythm of teamwork, feels altered. Not empty, not broken, but undeniably changed. It's the kind of shift that doesn't announce itself loudly. It settles in slowly, like dust after a storm. Everyone feels it, even if no one says it outright. Grief, in this world, does not look like stillness for long. There are reports to file, loose ends to tie up, and new cases already waiting. The job does not pause. It never has. And yet, this time, there's a quiet resistance to moving forward too quickly, as if doing so might erase something that deserves to be remembered. The team leader is the first to return to routine, though routine now carries a different weight. There's a firmness in their voice, but beneath it lies something fragile. Leadership, in moments like this, becomes less about authority and more about endurance. They know the others are watching, measuring their reactions, searching for cues on how to process the loss. But even they hesitate when passing the empty desk. It remains untouched. A coffee mug still sits near the edge, a stack of files arranged in a way that suggests they would be picked up again at any moment. No one moves these things. It's not an official decision, just an unspoken agreement. To clear the space would feel like acceptance, and no one is ready for that. Not yet. Instead, they work around it. Each member of the team processes the loss differently. One throws themselves into the technical details of the case's aftermath, digging deeper than necessary, as if answers might offer some form of control. Another becomes quieter, more observant, choosing words carefully, as though speaking too freely might disturb something delicate. And then there's the anger. Not explosive, not reckless, but focused, directed. A need to ensure that the sacrifice was not in vain, that every thread of the dismantled network is accounted for, every accomplice found, every consequence delivered. It's not revenge. It's something colder, more precise. Justice, sharpened by grief. This is where the episode's brilliance continues to unfold. It doesn't treat the death as a singular event, but as a catalyst, something that reshapes the emotional and moral landscape of the story. As the investigation into the network continues in the background, new layers emerge. Files recovered from the operation reveal just how extensive the conspiracy truly was. Names that seemed insignificant before now carry new meaning. Cases from years ago, ones that felt resolved, are suddenly cast in a different light. The realization is unsettling. The team begins to understand that the sacrifice didn't just stop a present threat. It exposed a past filled with hidden manipulations. Lives affected in ways they never realized. Outcomes subtly altered. It's a reminder that their work has always existed within a larger, more complex system than they could see. And at the center of it all, the person they lost had known not everything, but enough. This knowledge reframes their final act. It wasn't just about saving the team in that moment. It was about ending something that had been allowed to exist for far too long. Carrying that burden alone, making choices that could never fully be explained. Until now. There's a scene midway through the aftermath that captures this perfectly. The team gathers to review the recovered data. At first, it's purely procedural. Facts, timelines, connections. But then someone finds a personal file. Something left behind intentionally. A message, not addressed to any one person, but clearly meant for all of them. It's not long. It doesn't try to justify past decisions or ask for forgiveness. Instead, it speaks to trust. The belief that the team would understand, eventually. That they would continue the work, not just as agents, but as people who care about what they do and why they do it. The room falls silent as the message ends. In that silence, something shifts. The anger softens, not disappearing, but transforming into something more sustainable. The grief remains, but it's no longer isolating. It becomes shared, binding the team together in a way that feels stronger, not weaker. From that point on, the episode moves toward resolution, but not in the traditional sense. There's no clean closure, no moment where everything feels fixed. Instead, there's progress, understanding, a sense that while the loss will always be part of them, it will not define them entirely. One of the most powerful elements of this second half is how it honors the character without turning them into something untouchable. They are remembered not as a perfect figure, but as a complex one. Someone who made difficult choices, carried heavy secrets, and ultimately chose to protect others at the cost of their own life. That humanity is what makes the loss resonate so deeply. In the final scenes, the team makes a quiet decision. The desk is cleared, but not erased. Personal items are carefully packed, each one handled with intention. Some are kept, others sent to loved ones. The space itself is left open, not immediately filled by someone new. It becomes, for a time, a reminder, not of absence, but of impact. The team gathers one last time before the episode ends. Not for a case, not for a briefing, but simply to be together. There are no grand speeches, no dramatic declarations, just presence. a shared understanding that what they've been through has changed them. And then, almost imperceptibly, life continues. A new case comes in. Phones ring. Conversations begin again. The rhythm returns, but it's different now. More deliberate, more aware. Because this time, they know exactly what can be lost. The closing shot lingers just long enough to leave an impression. The camera pulls back, showing the team at work, the empty space among them, and the sense that while something is gone, something else has taken its place. A deeper connection, a renewed purpose, and a legacy that will carry forward into whatever comes next. In delivering its 500th episode, NCIS achieves something rare. It doesn't rely on spectacle or nostalgia alone. It tells a story that feels earned, one that respects its history while pushing its characters into new emotional territory. And in doing so, it proves that even after 23 years, it still knows how to surprise us.